Hello, hello. This is Kenya Rahmaan, author and founder of the Child Support Hustle, and I hope you're doing well this afternoon. I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. Here, sticking up right there. So I'm gonna jump right in, as the title suggests, which is not an isolated incident, as I would want to say, that child support or government officials kissing their own ass when they give money back or pay money back to child support recipients or people that are in the system. And Mississippi is doing that right now. And so I read this article of them giving 1.7 million back to the rightful owners. I said, let me check this out and see what they're doing, because it was all this. When I read tell y'all what the article says, y'all see why I was curious about it and why I wanted to discuss it and why the title is what the title is. So, according to Bob Bakken, Bakken, of the DeSoto County News, Mississippi officials are claiming that they will start putting kids first. That was already a red flag, because Mississippi never puts kids first. As far as this child support system and the welfare systems, I've never seen them put kids first. David McCray, and this is the Mississippi State Treasurer, told Bakken that, quote, "I am pleased to report that the state treasury and the Mississippi Department of Human Services have teamed up to return 1.7 million in unclaimed money to families with unpaid child support." Unclaimed child support collections, it's not new, and it's not a new source of collections. Hello, let's talk about the podcast. So it's not new. There's undistributed, unclaimed monies that, if you're unfamiliar, your state has an office or a department. And if you pay a bill or whatever, if they can't find you, there's this pot of money sitting there. And if it goes unclaimed for X amount of years, it'll go to the state. The same thing applies for unclaimed child support or undistributed child support money. That's what this is. So Mississippi is now saying that they're going to return this unclaimed child support back to the parents or to the family. So it has it's a little unusual to have them distributed in the way that Mississippi is doing it, and that is to congratulate themselves for returning the money to the people as if they found it on the street. So to make a big announcement about it and say, hey, look at this great thing that we're doing. We're giving the money back to the people that it belonged to in the first place. That's odd. For as many years as I've been doing this, I haven't seen an announcement like this. Okay, so to start, undistributable collections, according to the Office of Inspector General's, to their office, results when the state agency receives child support payments but cannot identify or locate the custodial parent to return the funds to the non-custodial parent. So there you have it. So the undistributable collections belong to the family, but mysteriously, the largest collection agency in the country, maybe even the world, cannot identify the person who is supposed to receive the payment. That's the first red flag. They can't find the person to pay the money to, but they know all the information. But what's even another red flag, a bigger red flag, if you miss a payment, they can find you anywhere. They can find everything about you. There's a whole database that they run that they can find you can't do anything without the child support agency knowing everything about you. There's a meme that goes out, I know y'all probably seen on social media, where somebody on the moon, like, the child support agency don't have this address. That's how serious it is. But they can't find you to give you your money back on a child support payment. So the most ruthless collection agency with resources to ruin your credit, have you locked up, prevent you from leaving the country, strangely cannot locate you to return your child support payment and can't find your child to give them the payment. All of a sudden wants to give you this money. So you guys see where I'm going with that. The state is going to graciously return this money to the rightful owner out of the kindness of their heart. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting spammed. So let me get this up off of here. Okay. So back in, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, writes that the return was completed through a match of past due child support cases with the Treasury's database of unclaimed money, which will benefit 10,000 families. That's a lot of families, 10,000 families. So they're matching these families up, which, why wouldn't they do that anyway? That's another thing with this government and this child support program. If you have it there and you have these systems available to you and you know that people are hurting and you know that these children need this money, why wouldn't you match this information up from the jump? Why would you let this money sit there until you have to 10,000 or $1 million+ later, you decide, oh, magically you're going to match this money up and get this to the rightful owners? Why would you do that? Because you don't care. So they've essentially been holding child support money from 10,000 families under the guise that they could not locate them, and all of a sudden they can find them. But this didn't happen with the nod, without the nod from the governor. They had to pass a bill to do this, which is even more strange, but it was not going to be strange when I tell y'all why they're doing this. The bill was introduced by Senators Walter, I'm going to say Michel, Michel, and Nicole Boyd, Boyd. The bill SB 2319. And try not to laugh, but Mr. McCray says that, quote, when you see them, please thank them if you see them around. That's the end quote. Thank these two senators when you see them in passing over this bill. You're supposed to thank them for giving you your money back. That's how ridiculous this whole, not just this bill, but this entire child support system. You're supposed to thank them for giving you your money back that you're spending to take care of your children, that you didn't even need them involved with your situation in the first fucking place. But SB 2319, according to McCray, authorizes the Treasurer's Office to complete the match and distribute the funds in collaboration with the Mississippi Department of Human Services, the Welfare Department. So you know when that Welfare Department comes in, guess what else comes in? The arrears, the debt. So now we got them. So now it's not just the Treasury Department and the parent. Now we got that middleman. So why on earth would the Welfare Department need to collaborate with the Treasury Office to get money back to the rightful owner? So now we look at the bill. According to BillTrack50.com, the act amends Mississippi Code of 1972, which will allow the treasurer to intercept unclaimed property to satisfy child support arrears. You know what that means? You got it. Let's say thank you to the bill sponsors, because now Mississippi can snatch the child support that you already paid once, and they claim you haven't paid because it's lost mysteriously. They can now snatch it again because it's going to go to the arrears once they match the payment up with the child support case. They say you haven't paid. Then they're charging you 8% interest on. They can now say it's late, suspend your license. They can now snatch it again as an offset because it's a debt and they're matched up. So If you have unclaimed money now, they can take it and offset it like they do taxes and all that good stuff. That's why they needed a bill for it. And they're kissing their asses for this. No, it may not have been over one payment that they suspend licenses and do all that kind of stuff, but there's no telling how many times they said they couldn't find someone and sat that money in the unclaimed funds, or how many times they've even used the unclaimed funds to do something else with the money, punish somebody because they didn't send them the money. And they say 1.7. We don't know if that's correct because nobody is holding these states accountable. And this bill has already passed. This has already been signed by the governor. The article goes on to let readers know what people are saying about this new bill that will intercept the undistributed child support money that should go to help the children out of poverty. But now it's going to be redirected back into the government. So they just funnel this money that they claim helps children, that they kiss their own asses for when they pass stuff like this. Oh, we're going to get it to the children. Just listen to it. We're going to get it to the children. All the children are the future. Oh, we're going to, and they steal the money. These are just fucking thieves. And people really sit out here and love child support. They love this system with their whole heart, but won't even take the time to find out what's really going on. Based on a report to Congress in 2021, Mississippi reported 56.4 million in tax offsets taken for child support and 215,408 in administrative program offsets. That's how much money they just took from parents and kept it. We don't know how much went to the families because the debt is so big and huge to say that they owe it to the government. Let me get some water. They have so much arrears going on. These parents will never get out of debt. This is just an ongoing cycle. They just keep funneling money to themselves off of this child support hustle, just this scam. But I guess that money wasn't good enough. That's not enough money for them. They want more because they're greedy. And Mississippi is the worst, man. Okay. So y'all want to know some of the things that the people that are kissing their own asses are saying about this program that they have passed a bill for to make sure that the money comes back to them. The executive director of the Department of Human Services and Welfare Office said, quote, "This collaboration is a great example of government officials working together to the benefit of Mississippi children. We are grateful to the state legislature for granting us the authority to return unclaimed money to families with unpaid child support and to our partners in the state treasurer's office for working closely with us to successfully implement this new process," end quote. When the child support is owed to the state because the custodial parent receives TANF, Medicaid, food stamps, and child care, all of the child support collected is retained by the state of Mississippi. So all of that the executive director just said is bullshit. Total bullshit. Because those parents aren't getting any of that reclaimed money or unclaimed money. It's reclaimed for the state because it's unclaimed. They're going to pass it through their database, and the welfare office and the government are going to reclaim it. Because when they sign up, TANF, listen to all that, Medicaid, food stamps, child care, they're not getting any of that. So if you want your kid to eat and you're in poverty, you have to sign over your rights to your child support to the state of Mississippi. I'm gonna tell y'all how much that welfare check is too. Hold on. So Senator Michael, the sponsor of the bill, one of the sponsors, this is what he wrote. I'm glad to have worked with Treasurer McCray on this important legislation. It is great that funds required to go to child support are being distributed for their intended purposes. Lie. The intended purpose for child support is to go to the child. That's what they've told us. They've been lying for 30 years. That's not the intended purpose. The intended purpose for child support is to recover welfare funds, funds that they spend on the welfare program. That's what child support is, to recover that money. That's what he means. But when they tell us that, it's to go to the kids. So I guess he's really telling the truth. The intended purpose is to get it back to the welfare, to the government. So they say that these funds are required to go to the children, but the funds that don't go to the children, I'm sorry, hold on one second. Okay, so the pass through, they're supposed to, some states will pass through $50, $100, or $200, or no money. Mississippi doesn't pass through any money if a family is receiving those welfare benefits. Colorado currently is the only state that will pass through the full amount of child support to a family receiving welfare benefits. It's the only state that'll do it. The rest of these states, Mississippi has not passed 1 cent to families receiving welfare benefits. So what's going on? You can guarantee they won't get shit from this undistributed child support. They won't get a penny, because they don't even get a penny from the money that comes through that they can identify who it belongs to. Finally, Senator Nicole Boyd, the other sponsor of the bill, said, quote, I am proud to work alongside Senator Michael, Treasurer McCray, and Director Anderson to make sure Mississippi kids are given every opportunity possible. I am thrilled these funds can finally be directed to where they truly belong, to the government. But to say that they're going to the children, which she didn't say, but it's implied, is another lie. They're implying that this money is going to the children. So I wanted to point out that Mississippi is not exclusive in doing this. Every state does this. They make it seem, and they've always made it seem, that this child support system is for children. It's for the betterment of the children. But how can it be when they steal the money? They keep the money, and they do it under the guise like the TANF block grant, which we know is, or people that are familiar know as ADC, Aid for Dependent Children, the welfare block grant. We used to get cash. Mississippi, well, every jurisdiction gets every year 16.5, a piece of $16.5 billion. So Mississippi in 2020 received a little over 86 million, but they only spent 5% of that, which is 4 million, on basic assistance for their families there. And that's generally cash assistance. So they had the money, but they don't force the states to spend that TANF grant, which is supposed to be to help with the low-income needy families. They don't have to spend that money on low-income needy families. They could spend it on anything. They could spend it on a bridge. It doesn't have to be spent on low-income families, nor do they have to give that child support money that they collect to those families. So they're getting money on top of money, beside money. They're getting money all over the place. And they don't have to pay anything to the kids. That's why these kids are living in poverty. That's why low income children, that's why they're still in poverty. This was supposed to, how you're hearing now, programs to lift kids out of poverty when they were talking about the child tax credit, lift children out. This is what child support was supposed to do back in the 90s. And it didn't work. Then it worked very briefly. And then it stopped. But that's a whole different video. So with that TANF money, that 86.5 million, the officials spent $2 million on work supports. They want everybody to work to get the welfare benefits. Mississippi only spent $2 million on work support, supportive services, and childcare. How do you want people to lift themselves up from off by their bootstraps if you don't want to invest in work opportunities, and you don't want to give them their child support money that you're jailing parents for, that you're suspending licenses for? If you're not even going to give them their money, how are you going to punish them for not being able to do what you want them to do? They spent zero on tax credits, pre-K, and Head Start programs, but they want to do everything for the kids. They want to put out articles like this, quote, talking about how much they love the kids and how this is going to be so great for the kids. And they spend the money that they have, that they get every year. They don't spend it on the kids. And again, this is not just Mississippi. Mississippi just happens to just be so poor and happens to brag and kiss their asses. And this is not the only time. Mississippi is the worst. There was a couple of years ago, and I put in the description a few articles I wrote about Mississippi, because there's a journalist out of Mississippi. What's up, Rahmaan? That's my people. Out of Mississippi, there's a journalist, Ann Wolf, and Mississippi Today. I think that's who she writes for. And she did a series, an expose on Mississippi and their child support system. And one article, the first one I think, was how to unfuck the Mississippi child support system. And I did a video, and I know how to unfuck the Mississippi child support system. And I did 1, 2, 3, 4. I did a video, I wrote about, I know how to unfuck all this stuff. And I've been saying it, and, and she like went over and over, and the system, their whole thing is all jacked up. And, Brett Favre, I think his name is, a football player, they're calling him a welfare queen because he got paid off of TANF money too. Like, everybody has their hand in the cookie jar, and nobody wants to get the cookies to the kids. Everybody's getting paid, except they don't want to feed the hungry. They don't want to feed these kids. Mississippi officials carried over $47 million in unspent TANF funds. And they saved that money for a rainy day. Every state, they can carry over this money that they can just keep until they need it. But if we're recovering from a medical epidemic, whether you believe it or not, people wasn't working. People's bills weren't getting paid. This is a tsunami. But they can sit up there and save millions on top of millions. Mississippi has, I believe, the highest child poverty rate in the nation. And their cash benefit is the lowest. For a parent and a family of 2, they pay $146. And that was a raise. They just got a raise. Before that, it was like $117 or something crazy. And then people sit up there and say that people, especially mothers, single mothers, profit or go on welfare on purpose and just to rack up cash. That's not, you can't live off or raise a child off of 2 children off of $117, $146. That's bullshit. They're doing terrible, terrible things. And then when they do make the mother or the custodial parent sue for child support, they don't even give them the money. And then we see right now they'll put it, say they can't find the parents, put it in an undistributed fund, and now they want to take it and give it back to the government. They're sitting up here robbing people and telling us that they're robbing people. And there's people cheerleading for this shit. Put him on child support. Go put him on child support. Why? Why condone this? Finally, the article goes on to say that if you're behind making these payments, making your child support payments, just know that the state treasury will return any cash they find in your name to your kids first, because it's the right thing to do. But as I've explained to you, the right thing to do in Mississippi and for every other jurisdiction except for Colorado is to take the money from the children and to keep it for the government. They've been doing it now for damn near 30 years. And Mississippi is one of those states. And I'm studying, reading, researching for my new project. And Mississippi has never done the right thing when it came to its citizens. I'm sorry, Mississippi citizens, people of Mississippi, I love y'all, but those officials, they're not right. They knew 40, 50 years ago that this child support system that they implemented under Bill Clinton, along with bipartisan support, they knew that this system was trash then and it's trash now. And they can sit up there and kiss their own ass, pat each other on the back, congratulate each other when they pass these bullshit ass bills and rob people. But I'm telling you right now, the shit was trash then and it's trash now. And if they're going to change, if these bills are going to change, you guys are going to have to make them change these guidelines. They're not laws. How they're structured, they're not laws, they're guidelines, but you guys are going to have to make the difference. They would rather have parents fighting amongst one another. They want to punish you guys for non-payment in the parents' business. They want to punish for non-payment, steal the money, and have children starve to death, begging, having the parents beg for food and things like that while they're hoarding money. And then lie about what is for the best interest of children. Thank goodness for social media, because now more people are communicating, able to talk. We can pull the coat on people like, hey, you know what's going on? And that's what's been happening. So more people know about it. Less people are going and signing up for it, but still those people. So Mr. McCrae ends the article by praising the thievery again by saying, quote, I applaud Senators Walter Michael and Nicole Boyd for championing this effort in the legislature, and thank MDHS Director Bob Anderson for working with me to return $1.7 million. Because of this good work, I am hopeful this money can be put to good use for the families this holiday season, end quote. Yeah, right. I have never seen so many highly paid thieves kiss each other's ass like this and lie to the public at the same time. At least politicians fight and spit venom on each other's name while they lie about what they're doing. They'll be lying, but they'll be talking shit about each other, spreading each other's dirt. And then, they'll lie about what they're going to change. They'll lie, kiss each other. These people lie, kiss each other's ass, lie. Everybody's perfect. So, but You got people like me that's going to tell you what's really going on. And I don't think this is, like I said, this is not just Mississippi. This is the child support system everywhere. Thank you, baby. But even though Michigan did us, all the love from Ohio, baby. I love you. Okay, so I had to come on with this because I read this yesterday and I was like, these crooks. And in Mississippi too. Like when is it enough? How much money do you need? Because we're still paying our taxes. They're still getting their cut of the 16.5 billion. When is it enough? When are y'all going to stop this robbing parents on an illegal system, unconstitutional system, a system that should have never been put in place? The child support system. When are y'all going to stop that and get back into the right order of things? Like y'all, it's been almost 30 years and they knew it was wrong then and it's wrong now. When is it going to, stop? So that is my video. I want to thank everybody for your support. I appreciate you stopping by. If you want to get a copy of my book, I'll break it down the system and like how it starts, like the infrastructure of the child support system. In my book, The Child Support Hustle, you can get it at my website, thechildsupporthustle.com. I used to work on individual cases. I don't do that anymore, but I have a ton of information, blogs, let me see, videos, what else? On Facebook, there's a bunch of like posts and all that kind of stuff where people network. There's a lot of information on there. So there's a lot of information out. If you want to email me, if you have like a quick question or anything like that, I can either point you in the right direction or, just try to get you to the right place to hopefully get your questions answered. My email is cshustle, CSHUSTLE, the number 1 at gmail.com. Let's see, what else? That's it. If you like to send me a gift, if you like my content, you can on my website. And I think all my stuff is in the description as well. So that's it for me. Thank you for joining. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're watching this now. If you're watching this later, I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, share. Yeah, and look for my new project. Hopefully I'll be having it out. It's taking longer to write because my research is taking longer to research. It's an important topic and I want to make sure everything is everything. And I'm dispelling the myth that welfare destroyed the Black family. It's important for me to do that, not only because I don't believe it, but also people say it so much and we got young people coming up. The kids coming up, as y'all can see, I talk about the kids a lot. This is all about the children. So if we keep sending that message that the Black family or any family is destroyed, what do children have to strive for if they don't think that there's a family to strive to have? So I think we have to change the negatives that we put out into positive, especially for the children. So if not for them, then for what? So yeah. So thank you guys. I will see y'all next time. Make sure your notifications are turned on. Have a good night. I don't know if my nephew's still here. Love you, baby. Bye.